March 19, 2024, 7:30 a.m. EDA is now in session. We have missed a couple of sessions, so we're going to do some catch-up today. We're going to call it to order, and first of our order is going to be approve of agenda. Has everybody read the agenda? Everybody like the agenda? Okay.
I'll approve the agenda.
We have an approval. We have a second.
I'll second it.
A second. So carries. And then the consent agenda.
You gotta vote. You gotta vote.
Motion. It's been so long since
It's a vote.
It's
all
your
in
first
favor?
day. Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries now. All right, consent agenda. Approval of minutes of the January 16th, 2024 EDA meeting. That was the last time we were in, and it was in January 24 or 23.
24? Sure hope so. Otherwise, a year and a half ago was a long time.
Everybody read through that? Makes sense? Any corrections? Motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second it again.
All in favor? Got it this time.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Open forum, 3 minutes. And I had a clock at the time. Where'd that end up? Oh,
You won't need it.
Not hidden. It just has been hung up yet.
Okay, anybody out in the audience want to come up to the... I'm just practicing, come on. All right, we have no one here for open forum today. Goals for 2024, I did read through some of that. It was a nice package. That was Eldridge put that together?
Nope, that was me.
Oh, nice.
Just threw some stuff on a piece of paper and said, again, that's why I highlighted it. This is food for thought, not a suggestion or recommendation. This is just me putting some things on a piece of paper and say, I don't know what you guys are looking for. Trying to give some articulated goals. I also provided the long-term plan as well. Also, good morning, EDA chair and members of the EDA. Looking for goals this year. I think it'd be good for us to provide goals to ourselves so that we have something to provide to council as a packet of, okay, here's what our plan is for this year. Then we also look back at this year and say, here's what we did. We do have a community development director role this year. We hired him in August, John Seavold, who's been joining us for some of the EDA meetings. He'll be able to definitely push a lot of these goals as well through his position, which will help more businesses and stuff. And then also housing redevelopment things, as you guys are the HRA. So I'm happy to make any adjustments to goals that I put on here. These, again, were goals that I just came through, and it's like, these sound pretty good. But I'm happy to adjust and amend anything. And again, this is not a recommendation, just more or less food for thought. So you guys let me know what you want to have for goals, and we'll cross out, amend, and adjust.
I think one of the things we should focus on is the more of the commercial properties that are out there standing now. I understand that there's the triangle, we call it, and then there's the other stuff in Old Town. We should probably get that on our agenda. I don't know how to get it on our agenda. How do we do so?
Are you talking about the tax forfeiture properties, or are you talking about just bare land commercial properties?
Yes. Let's go with both.
Both?
Yeah.
Because, bare land commercial properties are hard to come by unless you know that somebody's selling. Typically, the first step for anybody who's a land sale person will look for the developer. But we can most certainly reach out to any of the bare vacant land owners that are on our comp plan that would show some sort of commercial or industrial usage based on our current comp plan. I know that may change in the next few years, but we can most certainly do that and get some contacts and see if the EDA wants to reach out and move forward with those things. I'm not quite sure what the plan would be to, I don't know if we're trying to inspire development or we're trying to just purchase land. I'm not quite sure what the goal would be, so that's where I'd like more direction.
I understood. I'm kind of thinking to be aware of. Let's start with that, and then decide if we want to do something with it. If we get our hands on a commercial real estate appraisal person, somebody, then there's our door. We can have them.
Yeah,
we also reach out.
Do have some of those already. They just naturally happen where we get reached out or whatever. We do have some good relationships with some real estate brokers that will send us information if something comes along. Typically, we don't.
You don't hunt it?
Yeah, we don't pursue it only because that's not a city function. At least from my eyes of trying to move forward. It does not mean that's not an EDA function. It's just not a city function. So, at least that's what have generally understood as being a city function. So I would not disagree that it's probably could be more of an EDA function than a city function. So that might be where we start with that process. Again, that's not. I think that could be a goal, having awareness. I know that we had a goal set in that plan that we had from Ellers of listing out available properties on our EDA website. It hasn't gone away, it just hasn't been on the front burner. So we will continue to try to move forward with that. So awareness of properties, commercial properties, sounds good.
Awareness of, yes, not just commercial, but HRA as well.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, John.
Thank you.
Morning, John.
Morning.
We're going to get access to the commercial MLS? Or
Yes.
John was going to get access to that?
Yeah, so we
What would
looked at that process, and I don't remember where we ended up on it. Dave or Scott, do you remember where we ended up on moving forward? I think it went to City Council for a recommendation for approval for that. Oh gosh, what was the website called? I don't remember what it was now. There was some sort of website that was done for available properties, so that would be ones that are for sale, and vacant land, and then also for rent. So if a property came up and said, okay, well, now we don't have anybody in this building, we need to rent it out. We hear it through word of mouth typically, but not directly from, and I'm going to butcher that. I don't remember what the name was though. But yes, I remember us talking about those things. I'm not sure if that's an EDA function as in, it's an EDA function, but I'm trying to figure out how it would benefit, how we would move forward with that. We'd have to have a budget set for it. So it might be something we look at this year for creating a budget for 2025 for the EDA to have that as a function of the EDA. I will put that as a goal. Great question.
Is this the list of all our goals in a summary, in a nutshell?
A
No.
list of what Zach put together,
I just
he put it together just so there was
We had a
something
bunch of
there.
them when we did the Ellers thing, like big time.
No, so these are the goals I put in here, and I reviewed the Ellers thing, so that's why I included that as well. If you read the packet, the Ellers thing was right below it, so you could reread the strategic plan that you had. And then you guys were supposed to come up with any ideas that you want to change. Is there anything else that you guys want, or you could scrap everything that I put on there and say you're an idiot, Zach, and we need to put something else in there, which is fine.
I don't
Doesn't
think that'd be
offend
the
anybody.
vernacular I would use.
Some people would use one, some people would use another.
Well, I think we should get the first set of Ellers all in tract.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can add to it, but I mean, it
There,
makes
there was
sense.
no specific goal set by year for the Eller strategic plan. It was short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And so if you looked at it from, okay, this was done in 21, I believe it was 21 or 22. 21, I believe, is when the strategic plan was done. It just listed short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Well, I don't know where we're at with
Where our clock is?
Yeah, are we on short-term, are we in mid-term, and we are, I don't know. And they weren't specific to say, okay, we want to have this done, we want to have this done. It was just more generalizations of, let's work on economic development related to businesses, or let's do pre-planning for strategic developments, or whatever it was, for short-term, mid-term, long-term. They weren't specific to Dayton necessarily. I mean, they were, but they weren't. If that
Well, we
makes
paid
sense.
for that to happen.
Yep. Yeah,
Should
I know.
put a
But
calendar on this for us?
what do you mean? They did not put a calendar together. No. They just did short-term, mid-term, long-term.
Another study without an end?
It can be if we don't use any of the goals up. Yes. Or should they accomplish any of the goals?
Well, I think this makes sense to me. How about you guys?
Yeah, there should be some sort of goals put together, absolutely.
Okay.
Otherwise, what's the purpose?
Did you want to add something?
Personally, I think we should be looking at some of them lots in Old Town. But there again, you gotta find a willing developer also.
So when you say that, can you expand on what you mean by looking at the lots in Old Town? Just so I
Well,
have
there's
good
three,
direction.
we still have 3 or 4 lots there, right? 3, I think.
We have the city. You talking?
Yeah,
So the city owns 1, 2, 3 vacant. You talking vacant
right,
lots?
correct.
There's 3 vacant lots because there's 2 technically on the corner of
Yeah.
Robinson Street at the bend in
Yeah, right in
Pittsburgh
the bend.
Village. There's 1 in the middle of that, just down from the post office
Yep,
on the same side of the road, and then there's the tax forfeiture property I don't remember what the road is that goes to the
Yeah,
right
it
there.
goes to the right.
So we got 4.
Yeah, so there's 4 properties that are vacant in this historic village. So that's what you mean?
Yeah.
Looking at doing something with those properties?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Scott, I get it, I'm hearing you, and now how do we get council to release those to us?
Well, that's just a discussion that's gotta be had, that's all. It's the start.
Yeah. Do we approach the triangle too, as long as we're doing this? That was a commercial one.
We're gonna get to that one today, I think.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. It's not on the agenda today.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. But again, how do we get the council to say, hey, handle this?
I think we have to bring forward a plan to the council. Say, here's what we would like to do with it if we can get control of it from you.
Yep, so I'm writing down, the goal that I have is establish a plan for what we'd like to see on those historic village properties.
Okay.
That seems like a goal to me. That's something that, when I try to look at goals, I try to see something, how can we attain it? How can we get there? An open-ended goal doesn't give us an end result, and we don't have like something that comes at the end to say, okay, we've completed that goal. You could put a lot of strategic priorities in place, but those don't have end goals. Like those don't have an ending. They just have, okay, this is our priorities to do this. So establish a plan.
And I'm not talking about any major redevelopment for the old town, because I believe that's 50 years away, if it ever happens.
Okay.
Just to
Just
me,
move forward on something.
something, just to me, just a simple
So-
restaurant, coffee shop would be, not coffee shop, but breakfast, lunch.
Right. Well, if we get these RFPs for the real estate broker, now we actually have a tool in the game,
Yeah.
and we can actively search that out. How would you word this if we wanted to make that plan for council to say, hey, let's turn these loose to these guys?
I would say our goal ought to be develop plans to advance to the council around redeveloping those vacant lots.
Okay. Can you fit that in there, Zach?
Yep.
You guys all agree with that?
You want that added to this list, as in like, so that would be, we've 3 new ones that I've heard. Awareness of commercial properties available. I don't know if that's strategically a goal, because there's not really an end result. It's more of a priority to me, but I think that's something we could put down as a priority. Established listing from the MLS commercial side, which is what Juan had mentioned during the budget process. And we could put that as a goal. And then plan for the historic village properties of redevelopment for 2024 to council. So
Yeah, well, it kind of fits under number 3 there.
yes, yep, it would be, yep.
And so this would be more of an action step
So do you
to
want to
that larger goal.
Maybe like an E underneath 3?
Sure.
Okay.
Feel good?
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I can get rid of any of these. I mean, that's fine too. I mean, I have no problem.
Well, as long as we're
Getting rid of
crafting
these.
this and we're 3rd month in already and we've had a pretty light year, I think we should get snapping.
Oh, I agree. Some of these things are on you guys as well. Like number 2 is EDA members will organize business outreach visits. We'd love you guys to go visit more businesses and just, I know you guys may do it generally by stopping in here or there, but I think it'd be good to have the whole team go with as a business outreach just to talk to a few businesses about what they need in the future. Specific areas that you could look at are in and around the Parkway, 113th area, any of the areas on Territorial. Those businesses likely won't be there forever, as that area will get more and more populated and become more and more of a growth area for commercial development right off the highway. They're going to need some place to go. So talking with those businesses would be really good to know what they need so that you can use that as a resource for your EDA to say, okay, we know that you need this. How do we get you over here or over there, or your guys' knowledge of the community as well?
We've had this conversation in the past when it was Tina time.
Sure.
And we've learned that when you come in as a mob and you start going to these businesses, they get pretty apprehensive to me seeing you around because you wear a city flag.
Sure.
I think you get more traction if you were to reach out to people you do know and they know, and just, that's my personal opinion. And you're they are less apprehensive to, share what they want. When it's one-on-one, it's great. When it's 5-on-1, they get sheltered. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, and we've had this, and I do this on a regular basis when I talk to people over there.
Mm-hmm.
And bring it back and share it with the group, sometimes anonymously. So what do you guys think about that?
So I can either amend the goal, remove the goal, but I think we should go through the goals because I want to make sure that each one of the goals can be done this year. And if we don't have a goal that we can meet this year, let's get rid of it, and we can worry about it next year or something.
Okay.
I think even if we don't go as a group, maybe a goal would be by the next meeting, each of us stops in and talks to a business. And then at the next meeting, we can
Share
share
that?
who we talk to and what their feedback is.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't know if we have to the next meeting, but we could say
At some meeting, at some point.
every EDA member has to stop at 3 businesses and talk to them throughout the year, and then provide feedback. back to
easy with the
team.
time then.
But I think it's,
I'm messing
you know,
with it.
I don't, like I said, I don't want to put pressure on you. Say by next month you got to figure out what each business is doing in town. But
Well,
it's more or less.
same concept.
Yeah. I would like you guys to visit more than one. I think it'd be good to visit a few.
Well, if he visits customer A and he comes back and visits customer A, it's overlapping. Mm-hmm. Now we're bothering him, not just having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But if we know our group, if we know our people, then we just reach out and what he's saying makes sense. Because he's going to know people I don't, vice versa, like the rest of you. I mean, you're in prime area over there, and do you know all your neighbors?
I do.
Yeah. See, that's a win right there. Because
Yeah,
they're going to
so-
tell you stuff because you're already over there. They won't go back. And I would rather have the raw truth than some candy-coated version of, hey, things are great, and puffy skies and blue
So we
ceiling.
could amend the goal, and I would say each EDA member will organize blank number of outreach visits this year. How many would we like?
Let's not put a number on. Let's just put it that they're reaching out.
Okay.
You guys like the reach out part instead of
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And if you do 7, knock yourself out. If you do 1, knock
Yep.
yourself
And then you guys got to provide that information back to the EDA, and we have that spot on the staff and board updates. EDA.
You
You
do
guys-
7,
you
you
do
get a
that?
coloring book.
You get a coloring book.
I'm sorry?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Good?
Okay.
Do we need a motion on that, or are we good?
No.
Yeah, so the other one we had was 3, which I don't know if we have anything else there. So number 1 was support existing business expansion and attract new businesses through the use of revolving loan fund. The revolving loan fund has never been utilized in the time that I've been here, and I don't even know if the EDA members know that we have a revolving loan fund, but we do. So it is currently a limit of $50,000, and it's for helping businesses either do facade changes or big purchases that they need to make their business larger, or we, want to, give the storefront a lift or something like that, and we provide them a low interest loan. Typically, and I'm not going to say a number because I don't know what the number is. Right now, interest rates are at what, 7% or something, or
6.5,
8%,
7,
6. It would be lower than that significantly. The idea is not for the ED to make a bunch of money, but it's to help our community and our business community.
Is 50 enough, or should we bring this to like 7 million?
You don't have 7 million.
No,
so,
you don't have that much.
Doggone it. I know, I'm just playing with you.
So
50,000 is pretty
But
light.
50 is a good number, and I'll bet you,
Dude, I can't put a parking lot in for 50K.
90% of the businesses don't even know it's there.
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so the revolving loan fund was passed in 2018. It has never been utilized. We don't have a single loan on the books.
Because maybe it's just not enough to do. Maybe we should increase that value.
We can amend the revolving loan fund policy, and if that's something that the EDA wants to do, we can review it at the next meeting.
I just think it ain't enough, because if you have the money to be where you're at, you probably got the money to do what you need to do. And if we give a higher ceiling, then they're going to say, well, I only need 60 of it or 30 of it. Or I mean, the difference is minute.
I think 50K is a big number
That's a decent start
for
A small
some,
business.
for a small business.
for a small business, yeah, that needs updating or wants to get their new sign or whatever.
And I don't know if we were looking to support the whole project,
Right.
Because typically when you do have buy a house, you put a down payment down, and then you take the loan off for the rest. This would be no different, where you put some money down of your own, and then you take a loan off for the rest. And again, they're made for loans, and what I mean by loans, I mean 1-2%. I mean that's the idea, is to not make it feasible for them to do the project in an area in a time where you can't do that type of project right now with a loan. If you were to go to your bank, they just won't give you that.
Is that something that just some sort of a flyer could be put out to all the businesses? And I think there'd have to be
I think we created one, and I could see if we didn't create one, we should be able to create one in the next.
Is this on our app?
I don't know if it's
I doubt
on
it.
our
I
app.
didn't see it on there.
I don't.
Have you all
doubt
seen
it.
the app?
No.
It's awesome.
No, I'm not.
They knocked that one out of the park. That was a good gig.
Yeah, we did really well.
So if
it's constantly moving and growing. But.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I just it's faster. So if you're on the app and they had a spot for funding your businesses, I think that would make common sense.
We're not going to fund a business, but we can fund a
You can bridge it anyway.
fund a per big purchase you need to make, or you need to make this to get you to the next level, or you need I don't even know, a lawnmower business needs 3 new mowers and they can't afford it, but they got to have a loan, so that's a perfect spot for that. Mowers are $8,000 a piece or something. So
Not Marty's.
Or what?
no,
Yeah, not much.
What is it?
Not Marty's.
Not Marty's.
Marty's are a little bit more expensive.
depends if we're getting the Batwing mower or not.
Somewhere in that packet of information, though, I mean, if we do put something on the app or wherever you put it, you're gonna have to come up with an interest rate number,
Yep.
like
Oh, we
80%
always-
of prime or whatever the term
I
is.
think we
gonna
came up with a cap. I haven't reviewed the policy in probably about
Yeah.
2.5 years, but I think that there's a cap on it, like max of 3% or something, or max of 2.5% or something like that. I believe there's a cap established with it.
It's currently that whatever money the EDA has, there's no interest on it. Or is there a little bit?
We are earning interest on
We
it
are,
from
okay.
from just having it basically we have it in a savings account, and it currently earns roughly
0.002?
5.
5?
I think we're earning 5%.
Oh, so
Because it's in a savings account, because it hasn't been
Yeah.
used, so it's just sitting in a savings account ready to be used.
Only had a
So-
budget this year.
so
We're
it's
getting another
better.
5.
It's better to get 5 than 3.
Yeah, but we get 0%
Yeah.
of 5 right now. Okay, so
Okay.
It sounds like that number 1 wants to stay, which is good, and then we'll work on I'll work on getting a flyer made if we don't have one made already. And I'll get it out to the ED.
and we'll push on the app too.
Yes, yep.
So for out there listening on your TV, that you should download that app. It's on Google Play and I think
On the App Store.
Apple Store.
Yeah, App Store. Yep.
And it's a really quick way of just seeing what's going on in the city. You can see the calendar dates. It's kind of a win for you out there. So I urge you to download it and check it out.
Yep.
Okay, did we clear that up?
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else. So 3 we've already identified that seemed to work well for the historic village changes and stuff along corridor 81 as well. That will help. I'm not sure. 4, support local Dayton events, which you guys already do. So I don't know if we want to put that as a goal or just delete it. I'm not sure.
It's fine. I got a comment on that.
Sure.
We got the opening for that one business last week,
End vent. Yep.
one day ahead of time.
Nope.
Because
It's
I
not-
got it in
it's
my
not
email
until-
one day.
It's not until
Hasn't happened yet.
It's not until April.
Oh,
It's April 5th.
okay, so.
I
that
sent the
one-
calendar invite to all the EDA members and the council.
Yep, I seen it.
Yep.
And I thought.
April
I
5th.
thought, okay, then my date was off because it's like, this is tomorrow.
Nope.
And I went, dang it.
Nope. April 5th. End vent is down off the new 121st Avenue just south of Graco. Other side
Nice.
of French Lake. End
Heads
vent
up
is
is
the
nice.
End vent is the same company that's in Anoka. That's the old Hoffman building in Anoka. So
Next to Federal Cartridge.
the Federal Cartridge End vent, and that is going to be their global distribution facility out of that facility. Happy to have them in town. Big business, good company.
Well, then I stand corrected.
Yep, it's okay. Anything else for this one then? The last one was encourage the city council to review zoning standards, which we have already, we talked about and we didn't really get, I don't know if we got great direction, John, on that one, but zoning standards that supports redevelopment and new development and priorities, and that's something maybe we can look at later on this year. I know that was something that the EDA talked about. We talked about it late last year, a couple of times of some of the zoning code we want to talk about and discuss. I think that should be a goal, but that's again. These are my goals that I threw down for food for thought, not the goals that need to be adopted. Any other things you don't want on this list? Okay.
I have something maybe to suggest or maybe a goal
Yeah.
or to add. I'll try to be as quick as I can. But so what I've noticed in Dayton over the years, right, there's a lot of commercial development, but it's all big warehouses. I mean, we're in the age of the bigger the better, 1 million square feet, 500 square feet, right? How does that help a small business? So is there a way that we can create some sort of smaller warehouse spaces for a plumber, a lawn care guy, something that's affordable. I mean, a plumber can't go buy a $2 million building, but yet it's hard for him to run a business out of his house.
Commercial
So,
suites?
Where in Dayton is there commercial suites?
So that would be I would categorize that underneath 3C, which is create redevelopment plans. That says necessary to pursue grants. And you can ignore the second half if we don't want to get grants for it, we can. But the creating redevelopment plans is what you're talking about, I believe. Of, okay, we have this area, and I'll use 113th as an example of those businesses that are there that maybe they need more space, or maybe they like where they're at and they want to stay there forever. And or they, we want to have plumbers and lawn care companies in town. Where do we put them? And it says along the corridor of 81, along the Dayton Parkway interchange, the historic village, along Balsam Lane. Creating redevelopment plans would be really good for this EDA to come to your point of, okay, let's provide a plan that would work for somebody. And then what we can do, John and I can do, is reach out to some developers that we know and say, hey, would you do this project? And they might say yes, no, or in between. I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least it would provide a plan of what. So actually physically looking at drawing a building and putting it on there and actually giving them some criteria than just. So the hardest part of drawing anything and providing those kind of spots is where do you put them, and how do they lay out, and how do they affect their neighbors. Typically are the three things that look at. And when you have just a bare piece of land, it's really hard for anybody to vision what it looks like. Developers are better at it than most people are, but it's difficult to see what this will look like when you redevelop it. Because it's just hard to vision things like that. So
That's where you're gonna find some guy that wants to put up some buildings. You put up by 80 by 120 and there's 4 suites in there.
Right.
40 by 80. You gotta find that guy now. I almost bought a building in Monticello that was that way. There was like 5 suites in each building. Great big long building, like this, and it was just divided into individual suites.
Yeah. But it was relatively, it was probably way more affordable than a $1 million building.
Absolutely.
And
Good thing your local EDA got you to stay in Dayton. Now you can pay our tax.
Yeah.
So
And-
so I don't think that's a bad goal. I think it's something that the EDA is going to be tasked with, and I think it's a good goal to have. I just don't know. It's good for the EDA to do. We just gotta have to do it, and it's gonna take some work from the EDA to figure out what it looks like and do some homework and drawings of, okay, we have this area here. How can we redevelop this?
Yeah.
You guy could easily go and get a couple of pictures of those actual buildings and put them on the app or on the website. Or is there a use for this?
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a company that wants to move their restaurant into town, but we don't have a spot for them. And they're all gone.
And I already know which company that is.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't want to publicly.
Don't publicly. Yeah.
There's lots of businesses that would
Yep.
like to move here. I know 2 businesses that left and went up to, one's in St. Michael, one's in Big Lake, because they couldn't find anything around here to buy.
But is that an EDA function or is that a commercial developer function?
Why is that? I think as the EDA, we're
We
business
can-
development,
sure.
right? So
If-
we're
if
trying
we
to
had
bring, yeah.
So
We don't have the money to build a building.
So Sean, you're bringing up a great question. I think all the cities around here are going through that same issues, that smaller business are getting pushed out of wherever they're at, and they're looking for the next town over. And for some of those, Dayton is the next town over. For those that are in Dayton, Big Lake might be the next time over. So I guess the question for the EDA is, how much land or how many businesses do you want to try to take care of? Because we look at 113th, and in our comp plan, we see that as being bigger warehouses, and those businesses are at some point in the future need a new place to go. We don't have any place in Dayton.
At least
Same-
currently.
Currently, and same thing with the businesses that are on Territorial or West Territorial. So I guess a bigger overall question is there a future home for those, the smaller businesses in Dayton, and where could those go?
And that's a visioning thing that the EDA could do,
Yeah.
that they could suggest to the council about, hey, we really think this area, because you guys have vast knowledge of the business world and know what's going to work and what's not going to work. That's the beauty of having an EDA with individuals in it, with business owners. And so you'll be able to say, okay, this area will work really well for this kind of business, so let's put them here. Or this kind of business will work. And the businesses on 113th are necessary businesses for life to happen and for things to happen. They just aren't the prettiest ones to look at. And that's likely why the vision of the comp plan has been, we want bigger warehousing, because I don't know if that's any business. I don't know if that's any pretty to look at, but outdoor storage is not the prettiest thing to look at, although it is necessary. Where do we put that if we want them to stay here? Because as a city admin, I'd love to have them all stay here, but I know in reality, I don't know if they'll all be able to. Or we need to be able to provide them that area where they can go that will work for them.
Yeah.
And that's going to take some homework on the EDA of saying, hey, what about this area? What about that area?
Well, if we start in this triangle piece, which we now know we can make money on, why don't we get that on our radar and see if we can get that sold out and make it into a duplex or a tripleplex or a quadplex? It's prime real estate. It's going to go through the roof as far as selling it. So how do we get that to go?
What do you mean? As in, how do you get it underneath your control?
How do we get control of that and make that work?
That would be, again, a city council, same thing that the historic village would be.
Okay.
Providing a plan of what we think is going to happen there, or what we'd like to happen there as an EDA, and then provide that to the council, say, hey, I think we could really do this. And then, again, that would take the council to give the control over, no different than Scott's historic village discussion we just had. It's the same plan. You know, the EDA's got to come up with a plan of here's what we want to do, here's the plan, and then the council will make a decision on what they want to do. If they want to give it to the EDA and they think that the plan's great, fantastic, then they'll give the relinquish the rights over to the EDA. And obviously we have to purchase it. I mean, we don't own it just outright. We still have to purchase that property.
Right, I'm aware. Well, then
So-
maybe for our next meeting, we should put this on our agenda as to, let's make a plan for that piece and present it to council.
Redevelopment plans?
Yep,
Okay.
I mean, I think that would be a great place to,
let's start it.
to.
We learned a
do-
lot in the
do
last
this
one. We know what not to do. Now let's flip this burger.
Yeah, I don't mean the plans as in like the process. I mean the plans as in what do you want on the piece of property?
Yeah.
And how do you want it to lay
Yeah,
out?
that's fine. I
And
get
and I'll show you some plans that we got for like preliminary plats and concept plans. That's what we want to see. And I know we're not going to get it CAD drawings and stuff. I get
No. We're not technical.
but we're just going to get
Let's
an
get a
idea.
direction on this.
Yep.
Okay, let's add that for our next meeting.
Okay.
Scott, how's your clock? You have to bounce at 8?
8:15, I gotta go.
Okay. So we need a motion and then a second for the goals. If you guys are good with those, along with the added ones.
We'll
which-
approve the motion for, let's get a motion for the EDA goals. We all like it?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Who gave the
He's got
motion?
it.
Sorry. Who did the
Just
motion?
pick.
I'll motion.
No, I'll make the motion.
Ron and Sean. Okay.
Sean will second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, said aye. Okay, we're good.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next.
All right, approval for postings, the RFP, real estate broker. Now, this kind of fits in with the last subject we were on, is that we can have some anonymity here as a city. And if we get a real estate broker, which we should, because most cities have one, we can say, okay, here's what we want to do with this. We can lean on them for, okay, what's the market doing? What's out in the world? Who's doing what? We'll have access to their MLS. There's a lot of things that we can have access to just by doing this. And Zach and I have made up some RFPs.
Yep. Drafted it from, or between your comments and me trying to make it look pretty. Yeah, looks great.
Hey, dude, it was pretty. Come on.
Pretty. I had to put it in a format that actually works.
And have you all had a chance to read any of the RFPs? You good? You do anything you like about them? You not like about them?
Yeah, let's worry about the real estate broker one first, and we'll talk about the legal services.
Okay. Did that RFP, did that go out yet or not?
No,
No.
we got to vote on.
You got to vote on it.
I mean, I read through it. I thought it looked fine.
We talked about getting this going 4 or 5 months ago. I know we did, but
I
it's
know.
just
It was January.
Yeah.
So it was 2 months ago, and then that's why I didn't have it done for February. Otherwise, this would have been on February.
So we want to flip the switch?
Yeah,
You good?
flip the switch.
Flip the switch. Okay, all in favor?
Oh, what was the motion? Good. Scott motioned.
All in favor?
Who's seconding?
I'll
Second?
second
Okay, all opposed?
Juan. Okay.
Motion carries. RFP, send it. It's a real estate broker.
Yep. Next one.
And then the legal service posting, that's for an RFP as well.
Same thing. Yep.
Now, mind you, not general legal services, but more so commercial real estate legal services.
So this is specifically looking for real estate type RFPs, basically.
I read through that one, that seemed very logical as well. So, do we like that? Need a motion?
I didn't see anything wrong with it. Seemed fine.
So, you're motioning? Motion to
Yep,
approve?
I'm motioning.
Okay.
Do we have a second? Yeah, I don't know. I can
Twist
twist
his
it
arm.
harder.
Second.
Okay, we got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I-
We have one opposed.
And I should say why, because I know that's irritating when somebody votes no and then doesn't give any reason. Not that it ever happens anywhere else, but
It does.
my hesitation around this one is that we have a relatively new legal firm working for the city, and I feel like we're going to end up, and it'll depend what comes back. So there's really I don't really have a big problem with sending this out, but I think we'll end up with, fees, ongoing fees for a retainer and another set of books to manage, and to me, it seems like duplication of services, so that's my hesitation around it.
I'll make that call when we see the numbers, 'cause, I mean, we're gonna look at it before we say, yes, we're doing it, so.
Yep, this is just for the
This
RFP.
is just for the RFP,
Yep.
so.
Yep,
You
I
will see
understand
these
that.
back.
And all of a sudden, if it comes back at $30,000 annually for something you may or may not use once a year, then I'm not gonna support it.
Okay, so you will see this back in May. So it will not be in the next meeting, it will be in May. It gives enough time for RFPs to go out, give people responses, they gotta draft their RFP.
Kind of feeling the market. But I understand your.
Yep, so we'll see what comes
You're
back.
negative.
and I just want you to know where I'm at
Yeah.
on it.
All right. Motion carries.
4-1.
Discussion, AI camera system, police operations. I brought this up a while back. It's called Poster. It's an AI system that operates in many cities. Anoka just got 4 more cameras. Champlin's got 2. This is kind of I look at it as an argument for the business guys. Because we're the first guys to get hit, every time. We get constantly broken into, they're shopping, they're flipping handles, and if it didn't have my extensive camera system, we would have got the last people that broke into us. But we did. Now, let's put this iron dome on the city, so to tell perps that if you come into our city and you want to play around, we're going to find you. We're going to get you, we're going to catch you, and you're going to be facing the penalties. Now, Zach has made a discussion against operational readiness as an EDA function versus
Correct.
I see it as a business retention attraction, because we're telling our businesses that, look, if they're going to FAF over, then we're going to catch them. So that's the discussion here. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Because it's not cheap. It's real money.
How
It's real
much?
money. It's $50 large a year for 11 cameras.
Well,
It's real
A year.
money.
A year.
But imagine the amount of people. You can't buy a cop for 50 grand a year. It's 24/7 monitoring. It gives our police complete tools to go in there and say, I want to see every red bike that went past this point, or a truck with a trailer, or a white truck with a gray trailer. So the amount of time saved just by running this AI system is going to be huge long term. Even though, yes, it's $50K a year. Now, I was hoping that, what is he now, Burstead Lieutenant?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Burstead was going to be here and give us an operation day, but he's been busy and I've been caught up with him. Now, I think the first question is it operational readiness for the council, or is this a retention attraction for an EDA is the first question that we should answer.
Correct.
I can't speak to the business piece of it because I don't run a business here. Would that attract me to come to Dayton or not? That's a question I can't answer, but it certainly feels like a public safety thing to me, meaning belongs to the police department and belongs in their budget. And I would love to hear from Paul or somebody else, where they're at on that. Is this something that they really have been hoping for? It's not been on their budget. I don't remember it ever coming up in our budget discussions around a need for this. And so I don't know where they're at, I guess, is my question. So I think there's more discussion that needs to happen. I think we need to understand where the police are on it. Is this something they can use? Do we have more than 50,000 a year stolen from businesses here? I don't even know that.
I did talk to Paul about it, and he says it's a very good tool. That a lot of your bigger cities do have this. Was it Wayzata, Maple Grove, Champlin?
Businesses or
Anoka?
cities?
Cities.
Okay.
Cities. And they fund it through police protection, something, right? He told me how they fund it. So, I mean, at some point, it's still going to come back to tax dollars are paying for it. I mean, even if EDA pays for it, you got to annually return that money to the EDA, or EDA will end up 10 years, 20 years, you'll run out of money. The area where I see more value than businesses, I mean, I personally am not worried about getting broke into. I mean, if somebody wants a box of snack sticks, I'll be out and give them to you, I guess. But the area where I see the real need is all of a sudden on a missing persons or a child abduction, and it happens in St. Cloud, and all of a sudden that camera picks it up coming down 94 up by the.
Yep.
You know, that's where I see the biggest value. So.
Which would be a city function more than a business.
Well, it can be
Yeah,
both.
yeah, it's going to act as both, because all of a sudden when that car comes by and they got a plate number in St. Cloud, when it goes by that camera at the interchange, or, you know, coming into the interchange, just say the car gets off at that interchange, because we wouldn't have the camera on 94, it would be entrances to the city. I mean, it's only gonna matter if the car comes into this city, so. There's some value to it. I was a little taken back by that it was an annual deal, and I thought it was 30 grand. 10 cameras.
11 cameras, 50,000, 30,000.
Okay.
Per
It went up since
3,000
last
per
time.
camera.
Went up, yeah,
33,000.
33,000.
I mean, I think it's a great tool.
We got nothing to offer any business coming here. Hey, come on in. Maybe you won't be ripped off. I don't know. Kind of seems blasé, especially when all cities are doing this now. They're doing this more and more. And when Anoka picked up 4 more cameras, okay, this is working. It's working for us as a city. And I don't think we need to.
I mean, you're talking about
Poo-poo this.
cities that got a 10 or 15 million dollar budget though too. It's a totally different deal.
Yeah, let's set the precedence though. You come to our city, you're going to FAFO.
Yeah.
Let's show them right up front that this ain't going to happen. And with as much building development we're going to have in the next 10 years, imagine all these job sites not getting ripped off anymore, because that's a big target for these people. Go in and steal a trailer and steal stuff.
Crime's still going to happen.
No
Yep.
matter what.
Same
We'll-
stuff is
we'll
still
know
going to
about
happen.
it.
And I think it's a city, or not a city, maybe the police budget. I don't know if it's a great idea. I just don't know if it's our financial responsibility.
I mean, a
Because
good
it's
example is-
serving everybody in the
I know
community.
a guy that had 2 snowmobiles taken out of his driveway just last Thursday night on the trailer. I mean, they actually drove into his driveway, hooked the trailer up and left. Now,
Did
that
you leave the keys
camera,
in them?
that camera
I'll park
would
mine
have,
outside if somebody will steal them.
you can put a new ignition switch in it. That camera would have picked it up leaving the city.
I know I got asked to review my video
Okay,
because of the snowmobiles.
yeah.
Well, it would have picked it up only if that's the way that they went.
They gotta leave the city. Yeah.
Everything's
Well,
coming
no,
out
they
on
don't
road.
have to. I mean,
Well,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
I mean,
They
if
could
they
go
stay
somewhere
here.
else and they put them in an enclosed trailer.
Right.
Again, it works. It's great only if
it's going by the camera.
where the cameras are.
You got 11 choices for them not to go past it. So if you look at the total numbers,
I
you
mean,
ain't-
I'll tell you right now, if you're a dumb criminal, you're going to get caught no matter what. If you're a smart criminal, you'll figure out that here's where it is, here's where it's at. Crime's not going to stop, period. Will this deter some crime? Yes.
Well, let's stop the
Will
dumb
this catch the dumb criminals? Yes. Will it catch the smart ones? No. For example, your thing, they could take it off the trailer, go to their house. They live in Dayton, put it in their trailer, drop that trailer somewhere in Dayton, and then drive out of the city. And now they have two snowmobiles in a trailer. You never even had a clue it was in there because now they're in an enclosed one.
Yeah, but nobody's
So-
gonna know that cameras are even there.
Well, not until you figure out where they're at. Again, you get caught once, shame on you.
Okay, just shy of the smart ones coming in with a Huey, dropping down and pulling them off by extraction. Let's worry about the dumb ones for now.
Sure. Yep. Again, this is why I believe it's an
Yeah,
operation of
back.
the police department, because it's going to help everybody, including the homeowners that are getting their car handles flipped as well. Because I mean, we have crime across the street in Bleasy Farms all the time. We get calls about it and this, that, and the other, and police will put out a warning that says this is going on. And we've done it multiple times. I think it's already happened 2 or 3 times this year alone. So
We need to answer the first question.
the first question
Is
is,
this an
yeah.
EDA thing or is this a city council thing,
Yep.
as a group? Before you bounce.
I'd be okay with it.
Is it an EDA thing?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you
Juan?
can, I know Paul's gonna support it. If you hand it to him, he's gonna take it.
I personally don't believe this falls under an EDA, but that's my opinion.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea. I just don't think it falls under us either, and especially at 50,000 a year. I think
It's
if there was
33,
some
right?
sort of
No,
It's 33.
it's 50.
Is it?
After all the
It is
stuff.
50.
oh, so maybe some. I don't know. I just think we need to figure out where the money would be coming from, because it's not just 50,000. It's 50,000 for the next 10 years.
Yep.
So it's $500,000.
And yeah, and then you guys just said you guys want to keep going with the RLF fund and push that up. And remember, you only have 500K in the bank, so
Yeah.
it goes pretty quickly when you start canning out money for RLF funds and this one. And that means that you're going to have to provide a budget, which is going to come out of taxes then.
I mean, if the police department budget, or if they wanted this, some sort of, I don't know if you call it a joint venture, but the police department puts in some of their budget, and we put in some, and the city puts in some, then maybe it makes.
It's all city money.
It's all city money, no matter how you look at it.
It's all
comes from
tax.
Yeah, but if we
It-
use
it
our,
comes
if
from
we use
tax
our
no matter
EDA
what.
money, we don't just go to Zach and say, put more in our account.
I mean, the other thing is you can try it for a year or two, and if it doesn't, if you get no results out of the deal, yep, you're out of here.
Champion's results from their 2 cameras said it's incredible. They're catching stuff. They would never know.
So yeah, if you don't believe it's an EDA function, which is fine, we can at least make a recommendation to council to push us into their budget.
We haven't heard from Dave yet. Dave?
Yep. So it sounds like it's a yes, no,
I gotta go.
not sure.
Okay, see ya.
A yes, no, and then Dave.
Yeah, I think it belongs in the police budget, not here. I'm trying to make the connection between, attracting new businesses or reassuring our existing businesses so they don't leave with this. It probably has some value, but I think that, we have a low crime rate, and that's the part that should be attractive to businesses. I don't know what deterrent value the cameras actually have. To me, it's history, right? It happened, and so now we've got a better tool to go catch these people. But it didn't prevent anything, and that's just what cameras are. It's a passive deal. It's not.
Watch them take it.
It's not shooting out any stop sticks or anything as the right car goes by. It's telling us that they went by.
Well, you're talking about 2 different cameras now. You're talking about a regular camera and an AI camera.
No, I'm not confused about that.
Okay.
I just think it belongs to public safety, and that's where it should be funded, which means it comes through the normal city budget.
Okay.
I'm not against it necessarily. I just think that this is the wrong place for it.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm not against it either. I think it's a great idea. I'm just looking at the dollars of it.
So yep. So what I would recommend.
If
so
we did 3 cameras,
it sounds like it's a 3-2 vote, which is for more city operation than it would be for EDA, which is what I'm hearing from the EDA. So the second question is, does the EDA, now that it's a city operation item, does the EDA want to make a recommendation to council to purchase this or move forward with this process? That's the second
Well,
question.
they have the ultimate decision anyway, so we can recommend it all day long.
Correct, but I think a recommendation from the EDA will be better than Paul telling us we want to spend
that we need it.
$50,000
Yeah.
because they're going to think,
Want a motion to recommend?
I like the idea. I would like to gather more information. Right.
For the police department to do it, not for us.
No, just overall the AI system. right? Because I really don't know much about it. I mean, these cities that have it, has crime decreased? Have they seen a significant decrease in crime?
That'd be a testimony from another city.
I can ask Champlain.
Well, how
police
many,
department or something.
how many cameras does Champlin have?
They have 2 and they're ordered 2 more
So why do we need 11?
because we're a bigger city, by far.
Are we a bigger city?
Oh, yes.
Physical.
Square miles?
Yeah.
No, as far as businesses.
Businesses, no.
Okay. I mean, what about, I'm just throwing it out there, what about starting out with 4 cameras and see how it works for a year or 2?
Well, right now, we've already had 3-2 against the fact that we want to fund this. The question now is whether or not we're going to.
No, I'm saying for the recommendation to the
Yep.
city council, instead of going in, as I would say, all in and be like, hey, this is 50,000, how about we make the proposal or the recommendation of, let's try this with 5 cameras for 2 years and see how the results are, and we can add from there, just like Champlin's doing, right? Seems a little bit more logical than just be like,
I mean, Champlain has as much exit points as likely we do, between all the residential areas and stuff like that. I mean, I guess they don't, it'd be probably pretty close number of places you can get out of Champlain. Obviously, the main one is 169, so I would presume that they use 169 as their test guinea pig.
I know where the cameras are. They're not on 169.
Sure.
They would have so much data to get, but I think the new ones are going on that.
Sure, but that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
ours would be, okay, well, likely our interchange is going to be the most traffic, or County Road 12 up north here would probably be our most traffic. So, but, you know, there's exit points on South Diamond Lake Road, and there's exit points on, I don't know.
Well, case in point here, they didn't say in their contract, which I read, that it has to stay in one spot. We can move it.
Yeah, most certainly. We'd have to have a place to put it. We can't just, I think you just set the thing on the ground. I mean, you got to put a pole up or something to house the thing, and they got to make sure you have electricity there and internet so that they can communicate. Otherwise, it's just maybe it's cellular, but you got to have.
There's no power. There's nothing. It's all.
It must be either solar or something because
Yeah, there's power, but it's
They're
not
wireless?
connected.
They're completely wireless?
Yep.
So can someone just come and
Yeah,
Steal?
someone can steal them. Someone can steal them. There they go. But we'll know who stole them.
and then if someone damages one,
I think they do a better job of anchor it than we think they do.
Yeah.
And anything can be stolen. They can steal a streetlight if they wanted to. But anyway, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And if we want to push the recommendation forward, the count can be up to them.
okay.
If you have a strong inclining, you know, if we only want this many or this many dollar amounts, then we could use that as a recommendation. But otherwise, we could just say we recommend this. And then obviously the police department's going to back it. I did talk to Paul about it. And Paul and Greg, and they're both, or sorry, Lieutenant Burstead and Chief Anga. They're both going to be.
Burstead's the one who came up with the number. He says this is our bear, get it by. And if this is our bear, get it by.
Well, that's with 11 cameras. Get it by.
Yes.
I mean, if get it by, you could also use 4, and then that's less than 50,000.
Well, then you lose some penetration. You lose the dome.
Yep.
But at least we can prove the theory to the city council, right? And I'm just looking at it as city council, again, then like way more.
Last year we argued about 20 grand. That was on the last council meeting. There was 20
Okay,
grand that was
so
argued about.
that's a
Just so
perfect
that we're
example.
aware of, like, and, you know, it's 50 grand. It's not a lot of money, you know, maybe in the grand scheme of things, but it is a lot of money at the end time too.
But you can't buy a police officer for 50 grand a year that has
No.
this kind of coverage.
Won't.
I don't care who you are.
Won't disagree with that.
So we should want to push the recommendation to the council that whatever their number is, that we have full support of this.
I would, yeah.
You okay with that for now?
yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, and I know Scott was okay with
Well,
that.
we'll get if this recommendation goes to council and there's something, we can provide like a demo or something that everyone can see so that you can see what it is. And
It's a
what it
cool
does.
demo.
Yep, that's what I mean.
I was
So
going
we
to do it
can-
personally in my shop.
Yep, that's what I mean. But we can provide a demo so that
Okay,
EDA. So.
we have a motion to approve recommendations to main council. Someone?
Sean made the motion, so I'll second that.
I'll second.
Or
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
That second will go to Dave because he got in just before Juan did. Juan, you got a lot of seconds today. Congratulations.
Motion carries.
Okay.
All right, morning EDA chair and members of the EDA. We're going to go through a few of the recent plans that went through the Planning Commission. I think it's important to get an EDA recommendation based on the business itself. I'm not looking for zoning code. I'm not looking for, you know, what you guys think of where the location is or whatever. I'm strictly looking at it from a perspective of businesses and either redevelopment of that business or bringing that business into town. What do you think from an EDA perspective? So the first one is Ziegler, which Juan should be very familiar on.
I'll add to the record that we would love to have your input on this, and of course you can't speak on this one.
Yeah, you're going to have to abstain there.
Yep.
But which you're well aware of the project anyway. So
Yep.
I'll start speaking, and John, jump in if I say anything that's totally off the hills. So Ziegler owns both properties down here on Territorial. This is just off of the Parkway. The interchange is just to the south of these two parcels. They purchased, I believe the one on the would be east. I believe that purchased that last year, and they rezoned it. This is, from what I understand, is going to be some electric trucking sales. And then the one on the left is their kind of rental business and overall most of their operations for Ziegler Cat. They would like to combine these two parcels to be able to utilize these properties better, from what I understand, to be able to go back and forth between the two parcels and have better continuity between the two businesses. Here is their proposed plan, which is, again, nothing changing majorly, but they would just create some connection points. From what I understand is here, John? Were they looking to create the connection points? Do you know?
More than likely. So I mean, the bigger issue, and Juan, you'll have to correct me, is that right now there's a conditional use permit for outdoor storage on the west property.
Yes.
That's being amended to include both the east and west, so the Ziegler can use both properties freely without
for outdoor
restrictions
storage.
For outdoor storage.
Sure.
Also, the Planning Commission had recommended or suggested having an outdoor display area
It would be
in
technically back here.
that corner.
And I'll go back to the picture so you can see it. That would be here, and the reason for that is because it would be very visible from Dayton Parkway. I don't know if you can you see that or no?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
And then the commission also is recommending outdoor screening, kind of in between the outdoor display area and the outdoor storage.
So what we would like to know, or from, there we go. So this is what their plan is. So existing area, basically the proposed extension of that outdoor storage area would be, again, the left would be the south, right is where Territorial is along this side. Not a whole lot of changes, maybe some existing fence, maybe dressing that fence up or whatever, but we'd like to know from the EDA, or I'd like to know from the EDA, what your thoughts are in this business doing this. Good, bad, terrible idea, best idea you've ever seen.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's a great expansion for Ziegler. And it's really not, in my opinion, it's not really changing a whole lot of what's there to some degree. I mean, they're going to combine the properties, but I think it's a perfectly great use of the property and what they want to do.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's one.
Well, I guess I'll get
Member
to
Fischel.
say this a couple times, but
Yeah.
I mean, Ziegler's a good business. I don't have any concerns about them expanding. The only thing that sticks with me a little bit on it is that when the original CUP came through, we heard a lot of discussion about, this is going to be like the Tesla model of sales, that there's not going to be a lot of vehicles parked around. People are going to order them. There might be something inside to look at, and then they'll order them, they'll get prepped, they'll get delivered there, they'll pick it up and they leave. And so it wasn't going to be a bunch of outdoor storage. And so this is kind of, to me now, sort of, well, never mind that. It's going to be
Outdoor storage.
just an extension of our existing business, and it's going to be outdoor storage, and it's going to be, so that I think the other CUP doesn't fit this expansion at all. And so I don't know, are we being asked ultimately to modify it or to abandon that one and create a new CUP?
It's a modification, so the truck sales doesn't take up a lot of the property, from what my understanding is that there's minimal, and when I mean minimal, I think we're told like 3 trucks would be there and parked indoors. So the outside storage is really for Ziegler equipment, not Ziegler truck sales.
So we would be essentially modifying or removing and replacing the previous CUP that we approved. I'm to say that the previous CUP said there will be no outdoor storage, or if there is, very minimal, a truck waiting to be picked up from somebody who ordered one. to being, this is going to be an extension of the business to the west. And there will be lots of outdoor storage, or a significant amount more than zero outdoor storage, which was on the previous one, CUP. So to your question and to your comment is exactly what you just mentioned. Is you could say it modifying, you could say removing and replacing. Either way, you're now adding outdoor storage, which again I've mentioned many times, and it's a necessary evil kind of thing. You know, no one likes to look at it because it looks not great, but it's necessary for the business to the west to function and continue to expand. So.
Yeah, I should mention, at the Plan Commission meeting, we had kind of a very similar discussion of what is outdoor storage, because in this case, the equipment is either for sale or for rent. So Ziegler didn't necessarily look at this as outdoor storage because they're trying to sell a product that there just happens to be parked outdoors. So you might want to you maybe compare this to a car dealership. It's very similar. Of everything that's outside is either for sale or for rent.
Yeah, and I know we're not doing that here, but I guess that's when we heard the original presentation about the no outdoor storage stuff, and I think I said it at the meeting, I don't buy that. There'll be stuff parked all over. Just look across the street at RDO. You know, they've got a limitation on how many display vehicles they can have, and you go by and there's, 50 pieces of equipment parked out there. So, if that's the business model that it needs to be, then that needs to be set up front, and that's what needs to be in the CUP, not, we'll just park one here and there and it'll be fine. If it's going to be a full-on display, then present it that way. And I'm not against doing that. I'm not against this business expanding. I'm not against this use. I just want it to be all on the table this time, because the last time I felt like
Call a spade a spade, right?
Right.
Gonna call it a spade?
He can't say nothing. So Chair
Okay,
Hunter, what are your thoughts on this expansion of the business, moving or extending their proposed outdoor storage to the building that was, again, mentioned by member Frashant, that we didn't have outdoor storage on previously. I'll use a little of my mouse as the best I can. There's a proposed, from what I understand, about 1,200 square feet area of display area. In this corner here, again, that would be displaying towards Dayton Parkway. Very similar or much designed like a car dealership would be, where they have something on a ramp or something and then something next to it, where you can kind of display off the pieces of equipment. But what is your thoughts? I got Luther as well already for that information.
So we're at the point where we want to nod our head and say, yeah, we think it's a
No,
good idea?
I just want your feedback. That's it.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on it? We'll provide that information back to the council.
I think it's their business model, what they should do, and I think Dave makes a good point. Call a spade a spade. You want storage? Put storage out there, and we shouldn't be against that. This is their business. And if they want to sell 2 pieces of equipment or 100 pieces of equipment, other than, like you said, you don't say you're going to do 3 and then you got 300 later. If you're going to do it all or none.
Sure.
Conditional use permit for driven auto sales.
Yep, EDA Chair and members of the EDA, again, this is, again, looking at for your perspective on, again, the business itself. So this is directly across the street from Ziegler. This is a building that has been used as auto repair. Ziegler is directly across the street. This building has been used for auto repair, and now they are looking to create a wholesale dealership, wholesale auto sales at the same location. That does not mean that there'll be auto sales or sales of cars at this site. It means that they're able to sell directly to dealerships, if I'm not incorrect, on wholesale dealership.
Well, sort of. So right now, the existing business buys salvaged vehicles and then sells it at a third-party dealership. And so in order for them to do this business operation, they have to work with a licensed buyer, pay a commission to that person. Then they fix the cars on site, and then they sell it through a third dealership, and then they're paying another commission. What they're asking to do is to get a Minnesota dealer's license that will take out the middleman, essentially, so that they can buy their own vehicles, still repaired on site. And they would have the ability of selling vehicles on site, but they still want to sell through a third party that has longer business hours, essentially, at a different site outside of Dayton. The appearance of the site's not going to change at all. It's just they would have the ability of having a car dealership there. The state requires, some of the minimum requirements for a dealership license. You have to have commercial property, and then parking spaces for 5 vehicles.
Is it 5 now?
5.
Yeah.
So the planning commission did recommend denial for this. So I think some of the concern was it wasn't the appropriate area. But again, I want to put an emphasis on is that the appearance of the property is not going to change.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's about 100 cars there right now, so.
Oh, yeah, I got some intel on this one. So when you're done.
So we just want feedback again. We'll provide that feedback to the council on the packet. So,
Okay, you done?
I'm done, yeah.
so what do you just your thing is 100 cars on it? That's your feedback?
Well, now
No, you're not
my
done.
interest is sparked now. Now I want to.
Yeah, I wanna hear it too.
Before I say anything.
Okay.
Okay, are we back in the business of accepting used dealership license referrals? Because last time I asked for one, you said they were not hearing them. Is that correct now?
No, it's not allowed in your district. That's
Okay. Okay, so now, let's go to phase 2. No dealer will buy a salvage car with a marked title. So I think that's deceptive to begin with. Dealers don't buy crash cars. Retail people buy crash cars. Dealer ain't going to see a brand new title and go, oh, great, super, and they go and flip this on their lot and sell it. Now, another used car guy might, but as far as any of the big manufacturers, Luthers, the Suburbans, the whatevers, they will not put a branded title on their property. So I think you were misinformed a little bit there. Secondly, as I read through the packet, it said that all their vehicles come in and stripped and they're SQSG ready. And I don't believe that's true either. Because when they're SQSG, and there's VSQSG for very small, there's a quantity generator license. And does this property have a VSQSG listed on it by the head of county and or the state of Minnesota?
I'm not sure to answer your question because I wasn't sure the question would pop up.
Okay, so you're talking about like very small quantity.
Hazardous waste generator license, yes.
Generator license.
Yes.
I'm not aware of that, if they do.
I'm not aware, I'm not aware either. I know that they do have a CUP currently from '93, which I think was provided in the packet to be able to do auto repair. But again, to your question, don't know.
Okay, well, I do, and I know what it takes to get them. And they're a pain in my butt. But you got to constantly do that. Looking at this kind of thing, if you bring a car into any facility and you say all the fluids are stripped in there, I'd say that's kind of BS. Because all the fluids are stripped. You have to stop the car, which means you need hydraulic fluids. And you have to start the car, which means you have engine oils. So according to the packet, that when they said all their fluids are stripped, and I don't have a problem with these guys doing work in sales, but it's not a car repair shop. It's in my opinion, it's a crash restoration place. And if we grant that license to say knock yourself out, then all of a sudden they've got retail sales there. And that's what the state requires, because I looked into it. A whole lot of things that kind of struck me wrong there, because I'm in this business and I get it. I'm not in the crash repair business. I am in the regular repair business, which changes things. But still, you have to follow the same rules and protocols given to us by the state of Minnesota, Hennepin County, pressure vessels. You take your pick. There's all kinds of regulations. And what I see there are no regulations. There's no one there inspecting them. So I don't have a problem, like I said, who they are, what they do. I mean, everybody's got to have something to do. And if they're in the business of restoring vehicles, they got to paint them. So where's our SQSGs for all the VOCs and hazmats for that? Because is there a paint booth on site?
No,
No.
Where are they getting it painted?
I couldn't tell you.
Right. So just saying. I'm a firm believer that all businesses should exceed and excel for what they do, but I'm seeing a lot of things here that just. And if you turn that business license on for a used car lot, it's going to be a used car lot.
So if what I'm hearing from you is you're saying no, you would not support this.
My opinions,
That's
and
what I'm
it is a
asking.
no.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry if you're listening, but there's a lot. Everybody goes through a lot of different things. If they're
Yeah, I
listening
don't
to
think
this.
it's anything personal.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't even know these people.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
Anybody else?
Sure. So it's not my business at all, but my concern revolves around, I mean, I can understand these guys wanting to, cut somebody out of the chain, that they're paying money to, that they, you know, they could retain that value if they could buy direct. I get that. My concern is, what does it become? The CUP travels with the property. So this guy says, I'm doing this, but then in 5 years he sells and somebody else comes in and they've got a whole different vision of how they're gonna use that property and
And
where they're
nothing to
gonna
stop
park
them.
the cars, but they've got a CUP that says they can operate as a dealer. I would rather see it as an IUP if we were going to pursue it, so that it's this guy, this business, and not tied to the property.
I guess I was under the impression that they are able to sell these vehicles to the public.
Not currently.
No. Not at this location. So, I mean, right now.
Are they currently happening?
If I'm not mistaken, I thought they even had a website.
Oh,
Well, so
They're in
this is,
violation.
there's 3 tenants in this building.
Okay, but-
And so one of them is a car dealership that I'm not aware that they have a permit to do that from the city.
So which?
Yeah, so there's 3 tenants in this one building.
Okay, and this is the one in the corner, right?
This is the one on the far right. Yes.
Okay.
so we got a business operating, your point is we got a business operating in the city of Dayton that doesn't have a CUP or IUP?
Yes.
I believe so.
And they're asking to get one now?
No. This is a separate business.
So they're subleasing?
All 3 businesses are subleasing, but that's not part of this application.
And this application is specifically for the one individual. We'll worry about the other ones separately.
Okay. So is that a yes or no?
Yeah. So is that a yes or no? Yes.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, what was your answer?
No.
No? Okay.
Sean.
My answer
Member
is
Luther.
my answer is gonna be no.
Okay.
Is this a motion or is this just a input?
Nope. Just again comments. Just need those.
Concept
again.
plan, let's see what we've got. Preliminary plat for Riverview Villas.
Yep. Okay. So this one is coming before you. So now you got to put EDA hat on and flip it around. Now you're the HRA today.
HRA.
Because you guys are the HRA, and this is our first redevelopment project we've had in Dayton, I would believe, in a while. And we haven't had redevelopment. We've had development of homes, but that's not an HRA function. That's a planning commission function. Redevelopment of housing is an HRA function, which is why this is coming in front of you today for your feedback. Riverview Villas is looking to put 2 triplexes on the properties at Levy Street, and the property next door that they own. So some of the things that we want to look at, and I'm going to have John run with this one because he's been running with this, but this is the 2 properties that we're talking about. These are on the 1 street off of Robinson Street in the historic village. This is redeveloping what was previously 2 single-family homes into 2 triplexes.
Yep, so this would be 3.
I'm going to go to the site plan.
Yeah,
Sorry.
as Zach mentioned, three triplexes, whereas it was formerly single-family homes. So 6 units total. The concept went to the council and planning commission in January, I believe. I believe the EDA too. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know if it went to the EDA, and I don't know why, but
Probably lack of meetings. There are a few questions that we had for the planning commission. One is within the the city code requires a certain percentage of the property consist of buildings. So I believe it was 65% of the building, if I remember. 65% of the property. That the corner unit doesn't meet the standard because it's too short. Planning commission was okay with it. We had kind of a longer discussion about the providing land or right of way for a future alleyway, so that as the block redevelops, the commercial properties along Robinson are going to have would have the ability of accessing through that back alleyway, because it's unlikely that they would be allowed to have individual driveways off of County Road 12. So we had quite a bit of discussion of what is the proper length for right-of-way, and I couldn't remember exactly what we came up with.
I don't remember either.
Is there anything different he's asking for today than he did when he signed his agreement?
no.
So it's identical?
Yeah, I mean, he had 3
The
different
conversation
plans.
is, he's already approved for this.
He's not. And so the council can make, or the planning commission or the EDA can make any recommendations based on the district that he's in now. So the agreement signed and the purchase agreement signed said he's going to pre-develop it at this rate at this time in order to develop it at X time frame. Basically, gave him a time frame and developed that said that he can't do a single family house on this property. He has to do something that is be considered multi-family or medium density.
So he's asking for single family, but he
No.
No.
This was formerly single family.
Formally
Right,
single
right.
family. So his agreement with the purchase from the city, from the EDA or the city, said you
Okay.
have to do medium density or higher, and so it means you cannot do a single family home, and it has to be developed in this time frame, as in you have until August to get through commissions and planning stuff. You have till the end of next year to build phase 1, and you have the end of, I think it's 2 years to build phase 2.
is he on time?
Yep, he is.
Okay, then
So what we're looking at from the housing redevelopment is, do you think this is a good use? Do you think that he could do something different, as in, maybe you think that there should be, instead of having them all on the one side, you should have them turned and have one on, whatever road that
and
is,
that sure
Dayton
sounds like
Street
a
or something. Or
planning gig.
Nope, this is not a planning gig. This is a housing redevelopment thing. So what do you think the housing should look like when he redevelops this property? Do you think this is a good use of their housing, as in when he redevelops it? Is
Yeah,
it?
I mean, one thing to think about, if this works, I mean, this kind of sets the tone for redevelopment along
The whole Levy
the
Street.
whole, yeah.
Yep.
So which
So-
road are the garages off of?
So the garages would be off behind. You would not see them from the road. They
Off the
technically be
alley.
behind, and then
Okay.
the front of them would be this view here.
Okay.
So this is when he says front elevation. This would be
Towards the river.
facing towards the river. Yep. So you'd have your Juliet balconies, some lights up top here at full length column pillars. I believe the concept plan went in February. Is that when this one went?
January.
I wonder why they
And
could have.
all 6 units are essentially the same size?
Yes.
Except for the one. You said the one's a little bit smaller, right?
Nope.
No, they're
Oh,
all,
they're
All,
all the same.
3 identical sizes. They're basically the same exact thing. So if you look at this one, this is the same, and this one's the same, and then this one over here is flipped, so that you get the doors on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're exactly identical. The 3 townhomes.
I mean, I think it looks fine. I mean, I like that the garages are in the back like that with the alleyway, and I think it makes the front appearance much nicer. So overall, I mean, seems like a nice little building, really.
I see no reason to push against it.
Okay.
When is this going to be completed by?
So it depends on interest rates and fees, but at least phase 1.
Wait a minute,
Which would
interest
be-
rates and fees. What do you mean by that?
construction.
Construction fees,
Costs.
construction costs.
He's holding off because of interest fees and construction costs?
No, but he's not sure if he's going to build 1 or 2.
You can do all 3 at once.
Yeah, because he either has to. So if you build a building, you got to build them all 3. So you got to build. He's planned on 6 total units. One building has 1 triplex and the second triplex. The plan, from what I understand, is that he'd like to possibly get started this year on at least 1. If the fees come in and the interest rate's good enough, he's going to do
1
2.
threeplex?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
one
Okay.
building.
That's where I'm
Not-
confused.
Yeah, sorry. When I say 1, I mean you have to build all 3 at one
Okay.
time. So you either do 3 or you do 6 all at one time. And so his agreement says he has to have 1 done by 2025, which would be next year. If interest rates and everything are going well, it sounds like he's going to try to do it this year, as at least 1 of them started, to try to finish early and then start the second one after that.
Good for him. Rebuild it.
Okay.
Quick trip, moving
Why
forward?
did you have comments?
No, I'm good with that.
Prashant, did you have any comments?
No, no worries.
No, I'm fine with this.
Quick trip, I gotta wrap this up. I got a 9 o'clock.
So, me too. Quick Trip. Yep, so this is the concept plan. Nothing changed from the previous one. I don't know if this EDA has ever seen the Quick Trip plans from 2 years ago.
For the truck stop?
Truck stop.
Yep.
I have not seen the truck stop.
Okay, so this is the truck stop. This is at the Dayton Parkway interchange of the exit ramps here. Head north into Dayton. This is off of Territorial, across from Semstone. This is planned for there'll be a regular pump here. There'll be a diesel pump here in the canopy. Truck stop will be off to the side, basically in that valley. If you've come on or used that Dayton Parkway interchange at all, in that valley area, there'll be the truck stop area and the station store facing this way. So basically, just like some comments from the EDA, the business type and things that are there. So
I don't know what the council's flavor is on this, but I'm liking it.
Okay.
So I'm positive for that, and I think we should.
I'm looking
explore
for
it.
EDA. I don't care. The council's a different decision, but I want to know your EDA feedback. And
Where's
so,
this in relation to the Kwik Trip that's there now?
So this is on
94 and Dayton Parkway.
Yeah.
So not
That
that
is-
far away.
No,
No.
it's pretty close.
Okay.
So this is what this is what it'll look like. Sorry, I'll zoom in so you can see 'cause
Okay.
I hit the buttons. This is similar to what it will look like. Very similar, and then this will be the
How
front.
do we get a
door.
Buc-ee's?
You got to be bigger than that.
Yeah.
I think it looks, Kwik Trip,
Yeah, so
Always
Quick Trip
does
is
a good
okay
job.
with it, with being so close even. I mean, technically, by the way the bird flies, I think it's less than a mile, but.
Yeah, it's really close.
Yeah, but there's two different markets for them. So the market on 94 isn't going to go to the one on 81. And the one on 81 isn't going to go to the one on 94. Unless you're driving through, you know. I mean, you're going to go to whatever one's easiest. So for Quick Trip, they have no problem having two stations this close, because to them, it's two totally different markets.
Yes or no?
yes. Yep.
I'm a no.
He's a no? Yes or no?
I'm curious to know. I'm yes, but I'm curious to hear as to why he said no.
So, this precedes me, but we spent $1.5 million making that interchange look pretty. It's the gateway to Dayton. What the long-term plan in my mind, and this being the first relatively new piece of property to go into that area, the long-term plan, I thought, had a higher vision than a truck stop. And so I like Kwik Trip. I have got nothing against them. I voted against it 2 years ago, and this is the same plan. I'm still going to vote against it.
Satisfied?
Yeah.
Concept plan finished.
all I got.
Quick staff update? No? Good?
The only staff update I have is the EDA interested in any type of apparel? We're possibly looking at getting the commission some apparel this year, as in a sweatshirt and maybe a T-shirt or something.
Yes.
Is the EDA interested in having some of those?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good with that.
Okay.
Adjourn.
Well, do you have anything from the board? The part of that is board updates. I want to make sure I'm getting your guys' stuff too, so not just my updates.
Anything?
No.
No.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor?
We have a motion?
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries, let's go home.
Have a great day,
Guys.
everybody.
Shit.